Okay, I think we're good and running. So hello everybody at home. If you could all, everybody in class, turn to, and at home, turn to the salmon sheets. There's two of them. One that looks like this as a chart, like this. And then the next one has a baseball player on it, like this. So Ty's going to do two things at once. You're going to be able to multitask over there for me. You can do it. So you guys will notice that your homework is on Canvas as well as on the board. I wanted to just take a moment to make sure I explain to you what I want you to do. The first thing that I need you guys to do to prepare is fill out this chart. So there's 3 questions at the top, and then the words are on the front and the back side. Tell me what the hormone or neurotransmitter is responsible of doing. And then the last 2 columns, it says, what if you have too much? So what happens if you have too much dopamine in your body? What happens if you don't have enough? The last 2 columns would be the columns that would be maybe not filled out completely, or some of them might actually be more blank, and that's okay. I'm not grading this sheet here. So that chart, I'm not grading. We're just going to go over it. But you definitely need to know these neurotransmitters and hormones and glands and what they do for us. If you guys can recall, I told you your FRQ, one of the possibilities is going to be a neurotransmitter. So just so you know that. Let's see. I want you to keep it super simple. Because if you start Googling, which it's okay with me if you Google like dopamine, but it's also in your book. But if you Google dopamine, you'll get like 10 pages of what it can do for you. We don't need that. So keep it really trimmed down to our version of what we need, just the most simplistic things about what each of these things do for us. Any questions on the chart? That is going to be due for you guys on Thursday because we will go over this on Thursday. For your homework that's going to be graded, it's the next page. And it has a baseball player on it. So if you guys are familiar with professional baseball as well as, well, geez, I think even like wrestling, like professional wrestlers, they come out with walk-up songs. And those walk-up songs are based on the person's personality, their athleticism, whatever their goal might be. It's just kind of a wide variety. You guys are going to receive here in the next 2 minutes one of those neurotransmitters or glands, and you're going to go home, figure out what song that would be most appropriate for that particular function of that area. So if you guys can just entertain me and look down in the middle where it says directions, you're going to be assigned a neurotransmitter or gland, and then you're going to choose an appropriate walk-up song. So what you need to do is 1, 2, and 3. Again, this will be graded. You're going to turn this in for me on Thursday. You're going to get me the quote from the lyrics, so you don't want to write the whole dang song down, just like the particular area, might be the verse or the chorus, an explanation of how it relates to the function of the neurotransmitter. Okay, so you got to say, here's the quote, and this is how it relates to this. 2, any additional functions that the neurotransmitter gland is involved in. So even though your song might not describe it, maybe you could just talk a little bit more. And then the third thing, make sure you have the song ready to be played. So far, do you understand your expectations? That will not take you, trust me, that is not it's very long-winded on this piece of paper, but it's not going to take you a long time to figure out what song is appropriate for that particular neurotransmitter gland. Then on Thursday, when you guys come in, you're going to have your song ready. You're going to put it on your phone. You guys are going to bring your headphones and make sure you bring your little toggle if you have one. You're going to walk around. I'll go up to Leah and I'll listen to her portion of her song. She's not going to tell me which one she was assigned to. And based on the lyrics that I'm hearing, I'm going to try to guess based on my knowledge of neurotransmitters and glands. It's going to be like a quick review for us. Does anyone have questions about what you need to do? Yes.
So you're assigning us now?
I am. Yep. Any other questions? The only reason why I'm assigning is because I don't want 5 of you doing the same thing. Okay. So if you did not understand what I was saying, I've explained it right here. You can take a moment to look through that. But again, that would be due on Thursday. So I'll just walk around the room. Can you circle the number that I'm assigning to you? So this would be, you know, these numbers here. So Leah, 1, 2, 4, 5. It's down there. You gotta go through it. You okay, Michael? 6, 7, 8. You're number 8, 9, and 10. Okay, that's it. So just circle that one. If you're at home, you guys can pick whichever one that you want, since I can't assign you, and then you can do your walk-up song with whatever neurotransmitter or gland that you want. Just don't do serotonin, because serotonin was used in the example. All right, so I know I wrote on that salmon sheet to do it behind that. If you guys don't want to do that, you can do it on a separate sheet of paper. You're probably going to hand me in a half a sheet of paper. You know, it's not going to take much. So it's not a in-depth assignment, but it's something I would like you to do so that we can facilitate that review. Okay, so do you have any questions? Yesterday we went over, we built the parts of a neuron through a candy. This is all the leftover candy. I would just take it. I don't want it. So if anybody wants anything, you can feel free to grab any of it, and all of it. I don't care. Doesn't matter. We also then went to the men's restroom, and I know you couldn't see us if you did watch the video, but I was showing them the analogy of a neuron transmitting information. If you could just quickly turn to that page on your sheet. I added a couple things that I want to make sure that you also add from yesterday. The biggest thing I added, you guys, was the names of the ions. You need to know that. You'll see that on a test question. So potassium is our negative ions that are going to be inside that cell when it's at its resting state. Then the sodium is our positive ions, and they're going to be located outside the cell during that resting state. Everything else is pretty much the same, just so you know the names of those ions and the negatives on the inside when we are waiting. And then the other thing I added was just, you know, we have to reach that particular threshold. So this was the toilet just sitting there waiting. I told the students yesterday, when you urinate, it's icky, crappy, ugh, nasty, nasty stuff. So just think of that as the negative stuff in the inside of the urinal and toilet, just waiting, right? So it's just another way to remember. Negative is on the inside when it's waiting. From there, if I hit the actual pump hard enough or the flusher hard enough, I would reach the threshold. There was no holding back. I couldn't stop the flush. It went, and the message was delivered one way. It was going down the pipes. From there, we talked about how I can't keep reflushing and reflushing a million times until that tank fills up. And then once that tank fills up, we have that resetting period, and then it becomes polarized again. But in the meantime, this is when you are resetting and you cannot send another message. Are we okay on that? That was a review. So then let's quickly review this. You should have written down some of this stuff. If not, you're going to write it down very quickly here today. I'm not going to go through the whole lecture that I did yesterday. I just want to make sure you're all where you need to be, and then answer any questions that you might potentially have. So this is your neuron. This is it blown up into your terminal button. So A is your terminal button. And each neuron makes about 3 to 5 different neurotransmitters. So it actually doesn't have all of our neurotransmitters within the neurons. It just, each neuron is responsible for that. And then each terminal button within the neuron makes about one particular type of neurotransmitter, which is kind of interesting. So from A, we have our terminal button. B is our presynaptic neuron. And then E is our postsynaptic neuron down here at the bottom. And even though I don't have like an arrow pointing to this, what is this part of my postsynaptic neuron called? So Sophia, put your hands up. Okay, so I'm a neuron and she's a neuron. If this is my dendrite and the message goes through and it deposits at the terminal button, what is this part of her? What are her fingertips called? That's the dendrite. Yeah, so this is the dendrite of the postsynaptic neuron. Make sense? The big picture, put it all together here. From there, we talked about C, the message gets delivered, the neural impulse goes in one direction, similar to what we talked about here. D is your synaptic vesicles that are going to carry your orange, which would be F, and what are those called? Our neurotransmitters. That's right. So those are our neurotransmitters. From there, we went on to talking about, I think I skipped G. That's your synapse. Okay, so that's that space. That's why Sophia and I did not touch fingers. Okay, so that's that space in between. H are your receptor sites, and this is what I've blown up over here on this board. That's going to be more of our focus for today. Also, we talked about I, which you see that neurotransmitters fitting that receptor site like a glove in a hand. That is particularly an excitatory neurotransmitter. And then we have this neurotransmitter that's not fitting in. That's your inhibitory neurotransmitters. That's J. I just put excitatory and inhibitory. I didn't want to confuse you out there. K. K is the reuptake process. And as I mentioned, the gross analogy yesterday, but it works for me because I'm a dog lover and we've always had dogs. It's just crazy how dogs will vomit something out and then they go back to their own puke and start licking it up again. So it's like that presynaptic neuron, the before neuron that's like sucking it all up and out. So that's how I envision it. Questions on any of this before we go on today? You all understand that this is an electrical message changes to a chemical message. The chemical message is our neurotransmitters. That's very important. That's like a big picture thing you need to understand. So we are on to learning target B. Describe how the neuron communicates and the impact of the neurotransmitters that they have. So what I've done is H, I've taken these receptor sites and I blew them up over here. So we made something very small to much larger. Could you guys position yourselves where you could see the board? If you're not, feel free to get up and move. Feel free to turn your desk, whatever is going to work good. We're going to work off that board over here. I'm going to also ask you guys to do some drawings before I continue so that you're not actually trying to write as I'm talking. So if you see the very first, so we're going to actually go back a page. These got printed backwards. Sorry about that. So the very first key in the lock, off to the right-hand side, there's a little bit of space. I'd like you to draw the red and blue one. The second one that says agonist, draw the red and green one. And then the third one that says antagonist, draw the red and brown one. You guys, when you draw, and I want all of you to draw it, okay? It's not something elementary. It's something this is in your book. This is going to clearly understand these receptor sites. These are my receptor sites right here, the squares and the triangle. You have to draw these where they're filling in. So we've got 2 filled in here and 1 filled in there. Notice this one has nothing filled in. You have to draw it exactly like that. And then these 2 have nothing filled in, just my center one. So I have colors out if anybody wants to use colors. I'm going to walk around just to make sure you guys are all on the same page where we need to be. At home, if you can't see the board very clearly, that is actually in your textbook. And you can use your textbook as a guide for that. I'll look up the page number for you. Okay, so it's on page 58 at home. So you can take those particular cells and those receptor sites and draw them accordingly next to your particular keys in a lock. I know, I'm not a very good artist at all. Yeah, that's good. You guys are all in the right spot at least. So what does each color represent at the top? The blue, the green, and the brown. Anybody want to shout that one out? If that's the receptor site that's in the red, what does the blue, green, and brown represent? Yeah. The neurotransmitter, right? So that's the neurotransmitter coming down. All right? And you can see on the very top one where the blue and the red are meeting. That neurotransmitter is fitting beautifully. So the pictures that you have that are already in that sheet or on that sheet of paper, it's showing you like a key fitting in a lock. I used that analogy yesterday. I also said a parking lot. So like it'd be like a car that fits just beautifully in that parking spot, a key that goes in. That neurotransmitter is coming down and just locking in, saying good to go, right? And so that neurotransmitter is exciting, right? It's causing the neuron to fire. Which one? That would be I. So do you see what I'm doing over there? I'm taking this, blowing it up to here. The excitatory neurotransmitter is causing that message to be delivered. We need to talk about two things here. What happens when it doesn't go on? The neurotransmitters will do one of two things. They will either sit in that synapse or they'll come back up to the reuptake. So they can actually even just sit where, like if you see J here, they can actually just sit holding on and kind of being more of a blockade, not allowing other neurotransmitters to go through. Following me so far? So what happens is you need to understand, sometimes we take drugs. Sometimes we take good drugs that are medicated, that the doctor prescribes to us, and sometimes people get involved, obviously, in street drugs. And street drugs can actually do some of this stuff for and against us, just like medicine can do for and against us. So the green and the brown are more representative of like a drug that you took, an artificial drug. And drugs aren't perfect, but they can actually be close enough to fake it. And that's where the whole, we won't even get into the political discourse of like pharmaceutical companies and how they have, but anyway, that's another discussion. What you notice on this green one is this is close enough. Two receptor cells are locking in. Even though this one doesn't fit, it's close enough that it's going to fake it. And that is a drug that you've taken outside of your body, saying to yourself, hey, I've got enough stimulant in here that it's going to actually act like ACH, or it's going to act like serotonin for us. So those are called agonists. Those are drugs that actually do these four things, and here's your buzzwords. Make sure you know them. So you'll see test questions like that. It'll say, what excites, what mimics, what enhances, or what blocks the reuptake? Your answer is an agonist drug. I don't have any cute little fancy things or stupid things to get you to remember agonist, but agonists do those four things for us. So any of those words work simultaneously. So they work close enough, if you want to say that, they work close enough that they're going to fake your body out, that it's going to do these things for us. Now you might say, well, why are we blocking the reuptake? Because it's prolonging the excitatory response. If I have enough that are blocking and it's not being pulled back in, so the dog didn't vomit it back up, what happens is that particular neurotransmitter is going to sit there, causing your body to feel some of those feelings that you need. For instance, let's flap ahead. Are you following me, or am I going too fast? Are you good? Can you guys turn your page to that graph, that chart that I showed you at the beginning where the neurotransmitters were? Number 3, serotonin. Sorry about all the flipping. You're going to fill out serotonin right now, at least a portion of it. Serotonin, what does it do for our body? It's our mood regulator. It's our mood regulator. So serotonin, in addition to mood regulator, you should put down sadness. And that's how I've always remembered what serotonin does, because serotonin starts with the letter S, and I think about sadness. When you don't have enough serotonin, you will become severely depressed, or depressed. You could just put depression. So that much I've filled out for you. Do you see how you're gonna do that? It's not too intense, even though it looks like a really big chart. I want you to keep it super simple. So back to the original discussion that I had. Okay, so flip back if you don't mind, where the keys and the locks and your drawings. From what I was saying is, if you don't have enough serotonin in your body, what the doctors might prescribe to you is a SSRI. Those are called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Sounds like a lot, but you know all the words now. You know what reuptake means. It's not allowing the reuptake. It's inhibiting that. So what that drug will do is it will keep the serotonin in your synaptic gap longer, causing you to feel the effects of what serotonin does for our body, which is make us happier. You get it? So how that can work for us? So that's why I wanted to talk about block and reuptake. Another example I gave you on the board is Novocaine. I think most of us have had Novocaine in our life, even just going to the dentist. Half your face is numb when you come out. What's it doing? It's doing exactly what I was just saying with the SSRIs. It's actually blocking acetylcholine, your movement, so it's paralyzing your face. And it's giving you that feeling that many of us walk out of there going, ah. In a couple days, I'm not sure if it's tomorrow or tonight, you're going to have a reading. And in your book, they talk about Curae, C-U-R-A-E, I think is how you spell it. But anyway, you can see it in your book. It's a poison. And they actually, like in some native tribes, they'll use this and they'll shoot you with it. And it blocks ACH in your body. ACH allows you to move. So imagine this. You get shot with this thing. You can't move. Your predator's coming at you. You can see, you can think, you can't speak, and you can't move. That sounds like a horror movie to me, right? So I think that's a test question. They use that example, but so just make sure when you're reading that you actually pay attention to that. But it's very similar to what I was giving you. I try to give you different examples that aren't just in your book. So how are we feeling about agonist and antagonist drugs? So antagonist drugs they're like, you're not even close. And so what they're going to do is they're going to inhibit the actual going on. They're not going to allow that to occur. So inhibitory stops that neuron from going on. It's just going to reuptake it. It's not going to sit in the synapse. It's going to bring it back up, but it's going to stop the message from delivering. Oh. I use the example of endorphins on your board. Endorphins, you could also put that down on your salmon sheet. They're pain relievers. Another word you could say on your salmon sheet is they give you the runner's high. I'm sure some of you have heard that. So I think it's number 6. What number is it, Riley? 6. So 6, I'm just trying to help you out a little bit. 6 endorphins. It's your pain reliever. Runner's high. Okay? I don't know why they've ever said runner's high because I've never in my freaking life had a runner's high. I don't even know what that means. Like, do you know sometimes when I used to run a lot, I used to say to myself, okay, runner's high, you can kick in any time now. Never kicked in for me. But anyway, we've often been given, a lot of us have actually been given pain relievers because maybe you've had surgery, something's gone wrong with your bodies in football or whatever. Like, do you guys know what some of those major pain relievers are called? Oxy. Yep, Oxy's one. Hydrocodone's another one. A street drug would be more like heroin, which I just wanted to show you the extreme. But what heroin will do for your body is it's going to not only make you feel that euphoric feeling, you're not going to feel any pain, which some of us, like, oh, it feels good, but your body's going to stop making it naturally. Because what you're doing is you're telling your body you don't need it anymore. That's the danger of taking prescribed drugs as well as street drugs, because both of them will do that. So if you consistently take prescribed drugs and you're never weaning yourself off of them, you're telling your body, I don't think you need to produce it naturally. So think about the people that are, if you've ever heard stories of people on such a serious drug like heroin and then they decide they want to get off and they go into rehab and they have these terrible, terrible, terrible setbacks. It's because their body has literally stopped producing endorphins, and it takes the body some time for it to figure out, I've got to produce it again, but that's like the most miserable point in their rehab because they have to figure out, it's just very painful. It's awful, mentally and physically for a lot of people. Okay, how are we feeling about this? Good to go? Okay, if you have no questions, what I would like us to do is a quick little review. You have 4 people on your side. You have 5 people on your side. Can each of you grab one of those? You guys grab one of the green. You guys grab one of the orange papers. Right at the top, there. So you get up and grab. You're going to have to physically get up and grab it. Yeah, yep. If you grab terminal button, get up and grab the whiteboard.
You grab terminal button.
And a marker from the board. You can just hold them, you guys, because you're going to be flipping them. You're going to be exchanging these green and orange sheets. And if you grabbed the dendrite, please grab a ball, which is up here. Good? Good? Good. Okay, so we all have our supplies. We're going to be moving here in just a second, but I want to explain to you what I want you to do. Your side is basically kind of going to go against this side. We're going to go out into the front of the building here. You're going to line up. Each of your teams are going to line up based on the order that you have here. So you got to figure out your order, which is pretty simple. That's basic review. The first person in the line that actually has a ball is going to receive a question. They're going to read it silently to themselves. They're going to pass the message along. So if the answer is antagonist, I'm going to say, okay, it's antagonist. I'm going to pass the ball along because that's where the message is traveling. So it's like a symbolic thing. We are just kind of showing how the message goes through. I'm going to tell you the answer. You're going to pass it along till it gets to the very end where our terminal button is. You're going to write the answer down. I'm going to read the question out loud and you're going to show us it. Everybody cool so far? Then you're going to switch spots. So the terminal button will become the beginning and everybody else is going to move down. So that's why I said don't wear them. You can just hand each other that. So everybody has a chance to answer a question and everybody has a chance to think about those questions. Makes sense? I'm going to spread you out as we go because your distance is going to get further apart. Why? What am I trying to symbolize there? That the message is slowing down. What happened? We don't have this on your green sheets. Yeah, your myelin sheath. Your myelin sheath is breaking down. That's exactly it. Nice job. Are we good? Understand? Stop it. All right. You guys are terrible. All right, let's go out. Take a bunches.
I might have to take like all the. I might just stop by like at the end of class, you know. And one of these.
Okay, so if you are at home, there's a yellow sheet right here, and these are the questions that we are going to be going over as a review. So I would take a second to go over them, and I'm going to then go over the answers. So we will be back. We're going to go outside and do this. Five, four, three. And then you guys face them. If you want to be in the sun, there's sun. If you don't want to be in the sun, this is cool you off. Okay, good, good. When the ball travels, where's my ball? Good. When the ball travels, you have to toss the ball, okay? But you don't want them to hear you, okay? So you got to tell them the answer without like screaming it, okay? And then it gets to the very end. Questions? If you drop the ball, you can't say the answer until the ball's in their hands. Starts easy, then it gets hard. All right. Dendrites, come get your question. And you can begin. There you go. May not ask for help.
The letter or the word?
You have to say the word.
Should I write what Amy just told me?
That's correct.
Come on. Race?
It is a race.
Why are we going so slow?
Yeah. We all know that you got it first.
Oh, okay. Oh, they did?
They were done. They were done before Chase even passed the ball.
Dude, that was pathetic.
All right, here is the question. For the 5 of you that did not see the question, transmission of a message within a neuron is called, flip it, chemical, electrical. The correct answer is electrical.
Chase, I never doubted you for a second.
1 point. Switch. Everybody switch.
Wait, does the terminal button go to the front or does it go to the front?
I'm going to keep that.
Terminal button should come to the front.
The Michael's doing the button.
Yes, very good. Very good. Very good.
You just go down. You're the slower now. Michael, you need a marker. That's my catch.
You can hold on to it. Just hold on to the questions. Are we good? All right, now 2 big steps apart from each other. Move. Like, keep going. So you're spreading this way. Keep going. Good, 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 good. All right, ready? Come get your question. See if you guys get this one. It's a top one. Sorry.
There you go, Michael.
Don't show it yet. Don't show it yet. How did they get so fast? All right, so Ava's writing it. Transmission of a message between 2 neurons is chemical. Right. So point over here, right? And a half a point here, because you got it right. Switch. Yep, you're at 2. 2 and 0.5. Just hold them.
I don't know if I'm going to know the answer.
Did you say, I don't know if I'm going to know the answer?
I don't know if I'm going to know
A lot of questions.
All right. Dendrites, come on. You guys all spread out that way. Go down to the first big window. Ty, go, 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 go.
That far?
Yeah.
Do they get harder as they go?
No. Okay, question 3. You can take it.
I believe in you.
Don't drop the ball.
Pass it back to him. Send the message again.
Come on, Leah.
Come on. I messed up. It's okay.
No. Just go on.
Hey, come on!
Hi, come on.
Who got it first? The answer is repolarized.
Same thing.
You had it? Oh.
I had refractory period.
Refractory period. Yeah. Wait, you gotta have. Keep going. Come on, switch. Ty, you're up.
Come on, Ty, you got got this.
This is not our point.
No, Ty's sick right now.
Ty, it's multiple choice.
Ty, you got like.
I'm not gonna get it.
It's multiple choice.
I'm not gonna get it correct.
Here we go.
Both hands.
Cool.
Come on, Ty, you got it.
Hey, back up.
Oh no, I don't know.
So the ball's gonna go into the road. Chase, be nice. You're like,
Hey, if we got it wrong, it's a...
Leah, did you get it? All right, the answer was negative polarized.
Ty, it's okay.
No, it's not.
Leah, did you have it?
Michael, I'm just leaving your thing there for you. I guess.
That was close.
That's a great throw. I was like, oh,
Does anybody know what time it is?
9:07.
What time did we get out of this class?
14.
Oh. Come on. Come up, Heather.
I'm gonna get this wrong.
Everybody's got all this confidence.
I
It's a
have-
top
I
one.
have
It's a
zero-
top one.
Just take the top one?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
I have zero confidence.
You know it.
I do not know this.
Come on. Leah, totally like. I love it. Answer? Threshold was the answer. Is that what you had? All right, let's head back in. Nice job, you guys. Get you moving a bit. The whipping of the ball.
Are we gonna be locked out for?
No, I got you. There we go. It's right there. Way to be chivalrous. Hold the door for women is always such a kind thing to do. Men.
Thank you.
Chase would have. You go, Sophia. Thank you. It's how my daughter met her boyfriend in college, and she's only 24. They were both coming out of biolab. He held the door for her. It was. She was like, who does that? Because nobody in Dubuque does that. Okay. Open your... Okay, we're back on screen. Did Ty do something inappropriate?
No, he just didn't know that you left it on.
I did. Can you guys turn? Just keep everything. I will collect your stuff or just put it in a pile. Yellow sheets. Yellow sheets. I would like you to answer those questions. There's Michael Duax with a big old honking thing of pretzels. Somebody's going to call me out for not putting my mask on here. It's all public. I know. All right, this yellow sheet. Answer those questions. They're just quick reviews while you're munching on your candy. Okay? These are the same questions that you had as you guys were outside. It was nice to get some fresh air, eh?
Yeah, that was nice.
Okay. So, struggling. If you're struggling, this is a good checking for understanding.
Except Boris can catch a ball.
Okay, keep in mind, one of them I failed, the other one you threw at the ground.
No.
How am I supposed to catch them? I mean, that was a trick shot.
I know you were whipping them, Michael. You were just, and you're going like backwards and stuff. The good.
Corinne, it's game day. Versus Xavier. I'll be there.
I got you. You're good. I'll just take care of your stuff here. And there's a back to that yellow sheet.
Wait, if it's a one neuron, is it electrical? Or is it two neurons? Electrical?
So this is within the neuron. That's electrical. So that's that picture on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so if it's between two.
Two neurons, it's like this. So that's our orange chemical.
Yeah.
Perfect. These would be exact, something that you would see like for test questions. If you're saying, okay, I've got it, I understand this. These are, a good indicator for yourself. My stomach is growling. I can hear it.
Have some candy.
No, I'm gonna eat candy. No. I have my oatmeal. I will eat when you all leave. Does anybody have supplies? You guys all just put it over here. Perfect. Did that cool you down, my dear? It did. It was actually. No, they won't let me.
Why?
Because I don't have any tables. They moved them all on me.
Can we have Michael?
Don't tempt me.
How much sugar
Let's go through the answers, especially for those of you at home, so you can actually hear the answers. So here we go. Transmission message within a neuron, this is one we did outside, is electrical. That's the electrical, that's within the neuron here. That's what I was showing you. Transmission between two neurons. Here, it is chemical. Thank you, Leah, for speaking. After a neuron fires, the sodium-potassium pump must reset the balance of ions to the original stable resting. Which one is that? Right there, D, repolarized, right? So that was me flushing the toilet, and you can't keep flushing the toilet until the tank fills up again. It's repolarized. Chase, you have facial hair. I have never seen his face in my life. I have never seen his face. This is the weirdest thing with all you guys pulling your mask down. I see a whole different person. Well, it was kind of shocking. The inside of a resting neuron has a charge that's negative. And you're going to remember that because, Ty, how are you going to remember that negatives on the inside on that resting neuron? When you go to the bathroom, you have urine, and it's negative, and it's gross contents, and it's waiting to be flushed. Good. Okay, wait. Question 5 is threshold. Backside, 6, all or nothing. 7, excitatory. 8, inhibitory. Have a great day. Everybody at home, have a great day. It's supposed to be 70 degrees out. Enjoy the weather and get outside and do something, even if you're reading outside. Bye-bye, everybody.